or the Ogoni people or the legacy of Kensaruwiwa, an activist said. Many other activists are furious, another activist said. When contacted for comment regarding the alleged betrayal of the activism struggle, Miti pointed the attention of the reporter to the Ogoni Bill of Rights, insisting that his appointment was not against the struggle. Part of the bill reads, "Now, therefore, while reaffirming our wish to remain a part of Federal Republic of Nigeria, we make demand upon the Republic as follows: that the Ogoni people be granted political autonomy to participate in the affairs of the Republic as a distinct and separate unit by whatever name called, provided that this autonomy guarantees the following: 1. Political control of Ogoni affairs by Ogoni people. 2. The right to control and use of a fair proportion of Ogoni economic resources for Ogoni development. Number 3. Adequate and direct representation as of rights in all Nigerian national institutions. 4. The use and development of Ogoni languages in all Nigerian territory. 5. The full development of Ogoni culture. 6. The right to religious freedom. And 7. The right to protect the Ogoni environment and ecology from further degradation." Responding, he asked, "Does what you are asking me require an answer? What is the Ogoni struggle that you know about? Have you read Ogoni Bills of Rights? Read it and tell me what are the 4 demands." Who is saying that? Who is saying that? Who is the activist? Who is the person? He asked before ending his call. Comrade Oscar. Now, the Ogoni people are not excited at the appointment of Ledumiti into the NNPCL board as a non-executive member. Ogoni, for a while now, has been struggling for this level of recognition. And it's actually one of the agenda in their Bill of Rights, Ogoni Bill of Rights. Why are they not excited, and where are their accusations against Ledum betraying the Ogoni struggle?
Okay, first, let me actually correct a particular statement you made. When you said the Ogoni people, I'm from Ogoni.
All right.
Kana precisely, Gwara, Biangwara, and Kana local government of River State. I am from Ogoni. So am I among those that are not happy? So it's not, so it's not the Ogoni people. I think it would have been much better that these people have actually made their names open. So I can actually say they are Ogoni people. When you say Ogoni activist, I am an activist from Ogoni. Yeah, I am an activist. Right. I am from Ogoni. Okay, and I'm actually been part of this struggle from my early age, even though I was not there at the then days when Ledumete and the case of Uwa started. But I actually joined the struggle since I started knowing my left from my right. So from my early age, even when I've not known my left from my right, I've been part of the struggle up to this moment. Okay. So I am also an activist from Ogoni. So I think when next the so-called Ogoni activists want to make their statement, they should always mention their names. I don't make statement without mentioning my name, because I don't want to be quoted out of the social like I'm being afraid. I'm not afraid of being killed. I am not. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm not afraid of detention. I'm not afraid of being in prison. So I don't think I am also not paid to talk. I am not talking in favor of anybody. I speak what I think is necessary and what is due. And that's why people like us find it difficult to be under the tutelage of any dubious person. Because it is very unfortunate that we have a situation that lacks morals. And when you come out to see how some persons can be able to be reminded of their morals or exhibit some morals, you tend to be a stubborn child. I'm being seen as a stubborn child because I find it difficult to find myself compromising with the dubious act of some persons.
All right,
and going forward,
to the Ogoni struggle.
The Ogoni struggle has remained a very vital struggle in the history of this country and the nation, also the international community. The Ogoni struggle is known to the international community. The late Kensaruwiwa fought for the right of the Ogoni, the indigenous people of Nigeria, and the oppressed people, the minority. That's the struggle of Kensaruwiwa. Not just Ken, but alongside with those other persons that was with him. Now, as we speak, the Kensaruwiwa struggle and the Ogoni struggle has been very, very sensitive. That led to the establishment of the MOSOP. Now, when MOSOP came up, MOSOP was supposed to be a mouthpiece of the Ogoni people. And just like we are also saying Mosop as a mouthpiece, Mosop is a mouthpiece of the Ogoni people. So any person is hiding under the disguise of Ogoni activist, then such person is not really bold enough to speak. I think I challenge these Ogoni activists to be able to come out open to say they are the ones speaking. I'm not speaking for the entirety of Ogoni people. Ledumite has been part of the struggle, was part of the struggle. From the days of Ken Saro-Wiwa, was part of the struggle. Although I cannot say he has been perfectly okay or perfectly right in all his actions. I cannot say so. I can also not say that he has been doing well, practically well, 100%. No. He has made some mistakes, a lot of mistakes. But this appointment is not one of those mistakes. He has made a lot of mistakes, but this particular one is not one of those mistakes. I personally do not frown at the appointment of Mr. President appointing Ledumite as a board member of NNPC. The Ogoni people has contributed, even based on the level of oil pollution we have in Ogoni. Even when we fought for the high prep Ogoni cleanup exercise that we have as high prep today, it was a born agitation. It was a struggle that actually gave us result to get this cleanup exercise ongoing right now. So these are part of the Ogoni struggle. And one of it is that Ogoni must benefit from the political system. And if Ledumite is favored based on the appointment, I don't think any rightful thinking Ogoni person should see that as or call it a betrayer. He don't use such a word that he is betraying the Ogoni struggle. Does it mean the Ogoni people are not supposed to be governor of Rivers State after all the contribution we have made in Rivers State? So if an Ogoni man becomes the governor of Rivers State, you said any Ogoni man that becomes the governor of Rivers State has betrayed the Ogoni people. If an Ogoni man is appointed or made the president of this country, you say he has betrayed the people. If an Ogoni man is made the SGF, you say he has betrayed the people. If an Ogoni man is appointed into an industry where we have produced very well and also has contributed very much into, and then you say he's betrayer, then I think that's totally wrong. So we shouldn't be seen for such action. Right. I want to first also use the opportunity to congratulate Ledumite for his appointment. I have actually not congratulated him before. So, but having this opportunity, I want to congratulate Ledumite for his appointment and also say that he should use his appointment judiciously to the Ogoni people.
All right, Comrade Oscar. We'll still come back to this. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll still dwell on the Ogoni struggle. Don't go.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human trafficker.
Honorable
You are a human
So no agreement with the EU, but
from the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. from the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains. Through the Sahara, we bring honest pop news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So come in.
Welcome back. Joining us on the show today is Honorable Churchill Wale. Honorable Churchill Wale is a socio-political analyst. Good morning, Honorable Churchill.
Good morning.
And welcome to Blowout. All right. Thank you. Okay, Honorable Churchill, before we went on a break, we were talking about the Ogoni struggle and the appointment of Ledum Mite, yes, as NNPCL Board of Directors. But then there are calls from certain persons, activists, who claim to be from Ogoni. Yes, they are not happy about the appointment. Okay, apparently they feel that Ledum Wike is not the appropriate person that should be representing Ogoni at that level of affairs.
Okay.
What do you have to say to that?
Everybody has his own opinion. But one thing is that before Ledum Mite will be appointed at that level, in that same parastatal, which I know too well that Ogoni man has been there before. You know, there was a time distinguished Senator Magnus Nkeyi was also in that ministry. So it's not a bad one. Ledum Mite, like I know too well that he is one time Musobe president or Musobe leader. So he has contributed in one way or the other. That is the reason why he was given the appointment. But I know too well that people will come out to castigate any person when you are giving, even as I am now, if I'm giving any appointment, some persons will come to castigate it. Because there are people that don't like you, naturally. And there are people that live their life in fighting some person's future. So, any person talking against Ledum Mite's appointment has his own opinion. But the federal government has taken their decision in giving him the appointment. I congratulate him and I wish him well. Let him bring light to that ministry. Because when you give somebody appointment, you should, that person should utilize that appointment, mostly when they are criticizing you, to bring light so he will make difference. I believe that the criticism will make him wake up and sit well to bring light to that ministry.
All right. Very quickly, Comrade Oscar, a minute. Now, considering the Ogoni Bill of Rights and the appointment of Ledum Mite, now, first of all, that also to a large extent satisfies one of the agitations in the Bill of Rights. Now, do you think Ledum Mite would be able to carry on the MOSOP agenda and represent Ogoni people, you know, the way he should, to make sure that the right development and all what Ogoni people have been agitating for, the government actually looks into it and the right thing is done, particularly when it comes to ecological degradation?
I think Ledum is a very smart man, a legal practitioner that knows his duty and knows his work, and also has vast knowledge in times of issues like this. He always will watch his back. He knew where he's come from. I also know that part of the reasons where his appointment was facilitated because he's from Ogoni. He did not make that appointment because he is Ledum Mite. He made that appointment because he is from Ogoni. And an Ogoni person was needed on that board. Okay. So that's where it comes from. So it is also his interest. Ogoni interest should be his interest. So if he is there and they speak as Ledum Mite and not as an Ogoni representative on the board, then he has made a mistake.
All right.
So I think it would be nice for him to understand that the people of Ogoni are watching him, and they will also want him to deliver the best as an Ogoni man. Okay. It's always good to understand that as an Ogoni man that he is, it's very much important for him to always protect where he comes from and also protect his own interest, because there are two things he's protecting: his interest, the interest of federal government, and the interest of the Ogoni people.
Okay.
So he should learn how to harmonize these three interests: his own personal interest, the Ogoni interest, and the federal government interest.
Right.
As an Ogoni son, he should also understand that the Ogoni has contributed so much and has benefited nothing. His appointment is the least compared to Ogoni benefit or what is expected from the federal government. So his appointment shouldn't be used as a justification that Ogoni people has benefited. Ogoni people has not benefited. Okay. So he should not see himself like him being appointed means Ogoni has benefited. Right. No, Ogoni people will demand for something beyond his appointment. Okay. So he should also use that opportunity to attract more things and something very beautiful and very important to the Ogoni struggle beyond his personal appointment.
Okay.
I want to let me just hit one point clearly. So he will understand that that particular appointment was not given to him because he's an Ogoni man. Any appointment from the federal government is given based on the region. And I believe it's because of he is from the South. Becoming a Muslim president one time or that does not give him the right to get that up. When you are talking about him because it's an Ogoni man, that means you are creating the avenue that what they are saying that is a bribery for the Ogoni people is true. But that shouldn't come from you. Let's see it that he was a comrade that has the opportunity to serve, and he should do better. That is all.
All right.
Now, I want to ask him a question. I want to ask him a question. I want to ask my colleague a question. Yeah. If you think Ogoni is not...
What we're talking about Ogoni.
Excuse me. If you think Ogoni is not the background for his appointment, we have the former vice president that just retired from Calabari. Forgotten his name. I just forgot his name now. He just retired from NNPC as the vice president of NNPC upstream.
Okay.
Now, is it not also supposed to be an opportunity for him to be returned as a board member? You see, when I mention Ogoni, I make no mistakes. And I mention Ogoni because, one, the contribution of the Ogoni people in the federal government, especially losing a sensitive and Ogoni 9, including Kensaro Umiwa, is enough for you to say that Ogoni has a reason to be actually compensated. So if he wants to look at it from that point of view, I am not giving credence or giving attention to the 4 activists or whoever claims to be activists from Ogoni. I am not speaking in their favor, but I am also trying to make you understand that the contribution of the Ogoni, especially the Ogoni hero and the Ogoni knights that lay down their life for the right of the indigenous people and for the right of the minority in Nigeria, and the Ogonis have not got anything as a reward. I also want you to understand very well that that is not as a case. Ogoni in the OMA 11, I don't know where you're from, but in OMA 11, that has the highest oil producing oil in River State, that cut across others. Ogoni is actually known that in the OMA 11, what we talked about when we talk about oil and the highest oil block is OMA 11, where the Ogoni have more percentage. And if a jail can be left or can be chased out of Ogoni land, that tribe, I don't see any local government, any other tribe or region that has been able to chase shell out of their community. Ogoni chased shell out of a multinational company was chased out of their community by the Ogoni people. And not just that Ogoni chased the multinational, the shell out of Ogoni land. Ogoni also demand for Ogoni to be all right. In Geneva, Ogoni flag is situated in Geneva. So if you don't know, I want to inform you that Ogoni struggle is not localized. Ogoni struggle is international. Because even in the international community, it is also recognized. Right. So when you talk about Ogoni struggle, we are not talking about Nigeria politics. Right, we are not talking about River State politics. We are talking about international struggle.
All right, comrade. We are out of time for this topic. Then the presidency on Sunday denied the allegation that President Bola Tinubu is implementing a budget different from what the National Assembly passed, saying that the 1.2 trillion differentials was added by the lawmakers. The denials were contained in a statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, titled The Facts About 2024 Budget. The statement reads, following the false claims made by Senator Abdul Ningi, representing Bauchi Central, that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led federal government is operating 2 versions of the 2024 budget, we consider it appropriate to inform Nigerians that there is no truth whatsoever in the allegation. Acting under the banner of Northern Senators Forum, Senator Ningi falsely claimed in an interview he granted BBC Hausa service that the National Assembly debated and passed 24 trillion naira as 2024 budget and not the 28.7 trillion naira that is being implemented by the federal government. To begin with, President Tinubu on November 29, 2023 presented a budget of 27.5 trillion to the joint session of the National Assembly made up of 9.92 trillion recurrent expenditure, debt service 8.25 trillion naira and capital expenditure of 8.7 trillion naira. This was widely reported. He did not present a budget of 25 trillion naira. Contrary to the strange view expressed by Senator Ningi, there was no way the Senate could have debated and passed a 25 trillion naira budget that was not presented to the National Assembly. We don't expect a ranking senator not to pay due attention to details before making wild claims. It is also important to let Nigerians know that the budget that President Tinubu signed into law on January 1, 2024 as passed by the National Assembly was 28.7 trillion naira. The National Assembly, in its wisdom, increased the amount proposed by the executive by 1.2 trillion naira. And the spirit of democracy, which allows give and take, President Tinubu didn't withhold his assent to the appropriation bill as passed by the National Assembly. We want to stress that if the budget figure was increased and meant to be different from what the executive proposed, it was the National Assembly that jacked it up in its exercise of power of appropriation. On the uncharitable claim that the 2024 budget was anti-North, we find such position as canvassed by Senator Ningi as too far-fetched and unbecoming of a leader of his status. President Tinubu is leading a government that is fair and equitable to every part and segment of Nigeria. In terms of funding, distribution of capital and priority projects, the 2024 Appropriation Act was not skewed against any section of the country. The North, as an integral part of the country, is well covered in all areas, from security to agriculture, healthcare to education and other important infrastructure such as roads, rails, dams, power and irrigation projects to support all year-round agriculture. He said, it is concerning that a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria can employ such primordial antics to fuel divisive rhetoric at a time well-meaning Nigerians are joining hands with President Tinubu to raise the spirit of national cohesion, unity and inclusive politics. Honorable Churchill, and the federal government has reacted to the allegation by Senator Ningi.
The allegation, first of all, I want to say that budget padding is not a new thing in the political system or in the legislative system. But what Nigerians should be looking at is when a bill, appropriation bill is being presented, is an executive bill, and is being presented to the House by the executive commander, that is the executive head, that is the president presenting the appropriation bill to them. And the appropriation bill does not mean that it must be that amount. It's a proposal. Now, when you look at it, what is happening in the legislative chamber now in our country is that they don't look at the bill the way it's supposed to be. Like when I was a councillor, I believed that when a bill is being presented in the House, I demand for that bill to be photocopied and given to everybody. So we can go back home, look at it, know every damn thing that is in the bill. For a bill of 27 point something trillion to be presented, and when being passed, it's not, they just added their own. And I know too well that the bill should carry theirs too. Because before the bill will be presented to the House, the executive will look at the three arms of the government, the legislator, the executive, and the judiciary. Then look at the country, the needs of the country, and before they will now start preparing the bill and other things. The needs of the country, we have needs, we have wants. Majorly what Nigeria is looking at now is the need, not the wants. Because we're talking about how to come out from where we are. Everything about our economy is getting down every day. And you are coming to talk about the padding of a budget. It's normal. But to me, what we should talk about, this is just the third month after the bill has been passed. The third month. You looked at the bill and passed it. Now you are talking about padding the bill again. It is very, it's insane. I mean, it's insane. We should talk about how to follow up the main bill that was passed and the bill that has been signed by the president. Not padding bill again. What are they doing it for?
Are you saying that the issue of budget padding should not be an issue right
for now?
So,
what you're talking about is on the major implementation of the bill, the appropriation bill, the major bill.
So if a senator raises alarm on alleged corruption,
it is
should be swept under the
yes.
carpet.
No, it shouldn't be swept under the carpet.
It should be considered
because one thing is that one thing I'm looking at. Let me just digress a little. One thing I'm looking at is a senator coming to talk about what happened in the Senate. It should be in the Senate House because they call it Hollow Chamber. You understand? Whatsoever thing that happens there should be discussed there. You coming out from the Hollow Chamber to come and talk about issue that happened in the Hollow Chamber when you know too well. When you know too well that you were part of it, because including him is part of whatsoever thing that happened in the Hollow Chamber.
Let me ask you a question. When you say what happens in Hollow Chamber should remain in Hollow Chamber,
yes.
If there is an alleged case of corruption
in the Hollow Chamber, it should be treated there first.
Nigerians should know about it.
No, it should be treated there first.
The appropriation bill we are talking about, is it not the taxpayers' money?
It is our money. It's everybody's money. It's the taxpayers' money.
So when it comes to issue that has to do with Nigeria as a collective, by legislators that our mandate put on seat,
we are just
should not.
Wait, let me tell you. What I'm telling you, that should remain in the Hollow Chamber. We have the principal officers. And when issues of appropriation bill,
are the persons in the Hollow Chamber?
Well, in that red chamber,
is it not the same persons that are being accused of the budget padding? Are they the ones to treat themselves? Are they the ones to investigate themselves?
Okay, now the minister for the aid to the president has denied the fact that the president is not aware.
The executive arm of government is saying if
that
there was
padding, they are not aware.
National Assembly.
That it is done by them.
You are saying
now, me, I'm saying that
if
there is padding, it is done by the National Assembly. That means it doesn't concern the executive. You understand? But the executive was so careless in the other round to sign an appropriation that you sent for 27.5, and coming to you, it is now 28 points. What are you telling Nigeria?
All right.
You're telling Nigeria that you don't know what is happening in the three arms of the government as they head.
Okay. Comrade Oscar, what's your take on this whole debacle?
What take do we have except expressing our disappointment in both arms and all arms of government, the three arms of government? We just have a total disappointment. We are thinking of how Nigerians should move forward. And 200 million and something Nigerians welfare should be looked into. How Nigeria should start thinking of how to compete with other growing countries or developing countries. Then Nigeria is thinking of how to go backward, and we are thinking going backward, all in the arms of bad leadership. You see, when you have a corrupt system or you came in as a corrupt person, it is very difficult to have a very sanitized system. Because when people want to do it right, they will say, why are we doing it right? After all, the person ahead of us is doing it wrongly. You know, a lot of people copy the wrong thing than the good thing. In Nigeria, we copy more, we copy faster the wrong thing than we copy the good thing. And that's why morals is being defeated in this country. Because if we have a system where morals is being encouraged, if positive morals are being encouraged, even our leaders, before they go to the executive arms or the legislative arms of government, they will understand that they have people watching them. And if at our various polling units or various units at the local level, we also do not consider who we elect or who we vote into power, it's also another point of challenge from we, the electorate. Because the electorate have a lot to do, not just that we look at the failure of the executive arms of government, the legislative and the judiciary system of government. We should also think about how we, the electorate, can also contribute better by next time voting credible leadership. Because when we keep voting those that doesn't mean well for the people, if Nengi has come out to say what he saw on the hall of floor of the chamber is not okay with him, I don't think anything is wrong with that. As a representative, he's there to represent his own people. So if he actually find fault in the bill that was presented by Mr. President and also have problem with the budget, I think it's actually expressing his own right that he's entitled to. So it is also not a good thing that if the senators are supposed to think about how he has expressed his opinion and then go back and look into the opinion you have expressed and then think how they can be able to ensure that 200 million and something Nigerians benefit from this budget. This budget we are talking about has to do with Nigeria economy. We are talking about how we can be able to satisfy the other people in the local level. How people can feel the impact of government presence in their local communities. And this decision they are taking in the National Assembly also affect the impact or the present impact of the people at the community level. So if the legislative arms of government is saddled with the responsibility of doing what they were elected for, I think these budget issues won't be a major concern. Rather, they will think of how to make it and make it well, especially when Nigeria is in need of serious positive system of government, especially when Nigeria is suffering from this high level of hunger. A lot of people are suffering from hunger right now. Those in the executive arms, legislative and judiciary arms of government do not suffer this whole thing. Because why? They are being paid enough money by the federal government. This is a country where senators and House of Assembly, House of Rep members are buying bulletproof water millions, and nobody's talking about it. This is a country where teachers are being less paid, and the National Assembly people are being highly paid, and nobody's talking about it. Anything that concerns the grassroots people, the National Assembly will be against it. But anything that concerns those in power, they'll always be in support of it. I am totally disappointed in the current system, especially under the leadership of Senator Goswe Akpabio. You know, one thing I always must point out is that a Senate president that speaks unverified, should we expect something good from such a Senate president? Because this whole thing is, we're having this whole issue coming from a leadership where there is no leadership, where we consider leadership zero. Because if we have leadership ongoing, we understand that we should always be able to look at the antecedent of what is ongoing. Now, as a Senate president, you watch the Senate, as a Senate president, and then you're watching such a display of rascality in your chamber, in your arms of government. And you think that's comfortable with some of us? We are not comfortable with it. Because from the beginning, we have been talking about leadership.
It's still an allegation, Comrade Oscar. It's still an allegation. It has not been verified.
It has not been verified.
Right, so it's an allegation.
So Akpabio, everything is unverified. There is not even, it will never be verified. Because when Akpabio will come back to respond, he will tell you it was an unverified report. And that's, though we now see him as unverified president.
This is different. It's not coming from Akpabio himself. It is.
It's under his watch.
But then it's still an allegation pending when it's substantiated.
What has he done? It's not just waiting for Akpabio to get. At the moment, anything that goes on in the legislative arms of government, Akpabio should be involved, especially in such an action.
All right, then let's wait for the substantiation of that allegation, if it is true. Right, and then
sorry, Churchill. If the National Assembly were to do it right, an allegation that has gone to the community level where commoners like us now deliberate upon, you should understand that it has gone beyond the hand of the National Assembly. And at this point, there should have been a committee set up. Now, is there a committee set up to look into this issue or this claim or alleged issue?
All right.
No committee has been set up. That's to tell you that the leadership is zero. That's to tell you that there's no leadership in the National Assembly.
Let's not talk about the leadership of National Assembly. What I am talking here is that the executive arm of our government, being the federal government, should have known before the president put down his pen. He should have known the bill he sent and the one they return, and knowing exactly what the National Assembly has either removed, you understand, or because their own is either to remove or amend to make it not adding.
During the budget hearing, some CSOs and DGs and all of them came to defend their own sector. And in the course of that, some people that made strong arguments had their budget increased.
Okay. Now let me before.
So maybe you cannot entirely lay the blame at the feet of the executive.
Okay. Now, when a budget is being proposed, before the budget will be proposed, it comes from different ministerial parastatals. It doesn't just, you can't just propose a budget, you understand, on your own sitting in your office. No. You invite them to send in their budgets. So when they send, when they send in their budgets, you now look at the budget, you will invite them to come and defend what they sent. Now, when they come to defend what they sent, it's either when you are telling me that a bag of rice in a wedding that is coming up next week, you tell me the bag of rice is 100,000 naira. And we know too well that as it stands now, a bag of rice is 80-something thousand. And you are looking at me approving 100,000 naira for the bag of rice for next week. And we know too well that if there will be increment, it will be between 90,000, just because of the level of the economy falling. So I don't see it that a budget should be padded up to the extent of 1-point-something trillion in this our economy that we are suffering every day. A cup of gari is 300 naira.
Right.
We are suffering, and our National Assembly is not affecting them. Just like what he's saying. If the National Assembly, the executive, everybody in the government, as it stands now, is not affecting them, because at the end of the day, they go with their allowances and their salary. Okay. Why the people are suffering in the villages? A woman that the husband is just a vulcanizer, delivered a few days ago, and the man can't even feed the wife that delivered through CS. Talk of paying the bill. That is to tell you the level of everywhere is just down. Nobody sees it to it. Right. So they shouldn't be adding to our problems. They should look for a way to solve our problems.
Okay. The House of Representatives Committee on Constitution Review recently received a bill for an act to make provisions for rotation of power among the geopolitical zones, senatorial zones, and federal constituencies in presidential, governorship, and senatorial elections in Nigeria. This stems from cries of marginalization by different regions of the country and some localities even within states. It was reported that the bill, which was sponsored by member representing Agatu Federal Constituency, Benue State, Ojema Ojetu, if passed and assented at the end of the review, may bar zones that have produced the President of Nigeria since the return to democratic governance in 1999 to allow other zones. According to the copy cited by correspondent, the bill would alter Section 133 of the Constitution by inserting some subsections of the nation's extant laws. Subsection 2 of the proposed law opines that the office of the President of Nigeria shall revolve around the 6 geopolitical zones, with each state holding the office for a maximum of 2 terms of 4 years each, to give every section and state in Nigeria a sense of inclusion, participation, and representation in Nigeria's democracy. Subsection 3 reads, any zone in Nigeria which has produced a President of the Federal Republic shall not be eligible to produce another president until the other zones take their turns. Subsection 4 says, the effective date for consideration in the rotation of power shall be 29th of May 1999, when the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended became effective. Meanwhile, subsection 6 says, the office of the governor of a state in Nigeria shall revolve round all the 3 senatorial zones in the state, to give every indigene of the state a sense of inclusion, participation, and representation in the development of the state. subsection 7 states that every senatorial zone in a state which has produced a governor of that state in a democratically conducted election shall not be eligible to produce a governor unless and until other senatorial zones produce governors of the state. Comrade Jimiabe, what do you have to say to this?
It's laughable. Why do I say so?
Why?
Decisions. We have so much good policies in Nigeria. We've been dishing out so much policies without implementations. It is not the first time we are having this kind of policy. Even in the political party, there is zoning system. This zoning system is not new to Nigerians. This is not the first time we are hearing about zoning in terms of political positions. This is not the first time. This is not the first time we are hearing zoning in terms of political appointment. An all-inclusive system of government or positions or appointment from different regions or different senatorial districts across the various states is not new to all of us. It's not even new to those that are making these bill or decisions or policy. It's not new to them. The problem we have is implementation. How effective is our implementing system? How effective? So when I see issues like this, you don't follow it up. I don't see it as a bill. It is not a bill. It is a hearsay. It is a mere say. It is not a statement. It is not a bill. Because there will be no way that this whole thing will be implemented. So it becomes so disastrous.
When you say it will not be implemented, is it that the National Assembly will not let this bill pass because it might affect the interest of people in the major geopolitical zones?
You see,
will it affect the interest of certain people or certain cabal, as the case may be?
Now we look at, now to respond indirectly or directly to your question, we have the police, Nigeria police. We have the Nigeria army. We even have the three arms of government: executive, legislature, and the judiciary. Now, in terms of agency, we have other sister agency. Institutions, we have them. INEC, we have them. How many of these are independent? Because when you want to talk about policy implementation, you should look at the factor that contributes to it or that can also challenge the process. Now, what are the factors that can also challenge this process of implementation? These are things you look at for. It is not just saying that they want to do a bill, say, look at they are working. All this is just eye service to prove that they are working. Working what? They are not working. Because now, as we are right now, the police, are they independent? Is the IG, the Inspector General of Police in Nigeria, taking drastic decision without consulting the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Can the IG take a decision that is against the president without considering the president, or without the president having a hand in it? In just concluded election petition tribunal, the president has a hand in it. Even in the Supreme, the president has a hand in it. So when can you say that you want to implement a policy? You see, sometimes we should learn how to make Nigerians understand that a lot of us are very much aggrieved, just like the statement of Right Honorable Shimikere Amechi when he was the governor or minister. He said, when the hungry people will come up, I'm quite sure they cannot stand it. When those of us that are hungry will come up to resist this failed system, I am quite sure even the number of people that will be threatened to be killed will not be a region to be stopped. Because as we speak right now, the hunger on the land, they are not doing anything about it.
Okay.
And you don't expect us to sit there and watch you eating and throwing food away. Why we cannot even eat the ones you are throwing away. We don't have access to the one you throw away. And then we are thinking about to even eat on our own. So I think this policy is not what that is expected from Nigerians now. Rather, what we should do is to go back and implement previous policies. Okay. So now it can impact Nigeria positively well.
Okay.
I've heard from my brother, you know, one thing about bills is before you propose a bill that comes before that bill should be first of all signed. The 6th geopolitical zone we're talking about has not been implemented. It was a proposed bill and something that the actions are supposed to be now. It has not been implemented. So coming to say, talk about the rotation, we should look at, first of all, implementing the function of the sixth geopolitical zone. If the sixth geopolitical zone start functioning as geopolitical zone, then we'll come back to start talking about the rotation of the power. That is one. And two, when it comes to rotation of power, I know there are people that will be very happy, just like if not for somebody like Governor Ian Wike, that is former governor of Rivers State. How can a poor man be a governor? It's not possible now. When I go demand that has 4 local government in the same district has not got a governor. 4 local governments. So somebody that is sharing 1 local government with somebody want to come and have a governor. It's not easy. You understand? But when we want to talk about rotation, they should first of all talk about the functioning of the zone. And again, adding to it, I believe too well that our constitution is overdue for amendment. Not amendment committee. Nothing is happening. The conference that was called by President Goodluck Jonathan, and they spent our billions of naira, has not been implemented. All those things are the problems of Nigeria. You know, when you want to look at the problem of a country, you will find out the documents that has been packed down, that has not been brought out for people to know the contents. There are things in Nigeria that they don't want to tell everybody about it. We have problem, and our problem can only be solved by us. This one, the rotation of power, is not our problem for now.
Okay, all right. Don't blame Tinubu Buhari for state of country, Senator Ogunlewe says. A former Minister of Works, Senator Adeseye Ogunlewe, on Sunday said it is needless blaming the country's present challenges on President Bola Tinubu or the immediate past administration. Ogunlewe spoke with the news agency of Nigeria in Lagos. The ex-minister said that blaming either administration will not provide solutions to the country's present problems or offer any hope. He said Buhari did his best when he was president, and Tinubu is currently doing his best to fix the economy and other national challenges. Ogunlewe urged citizens to be patient with the present administration in its efforts to deliver the results of its various reforms to put the country on the right path of prosperity. Nigerians should be patient with President Tinubu at this period in time, he said. The president has them at heart and will never do anything that's against their interest. His reforms and policies will take time to materialize. Yes, anything that is a drastic departure from what we are used to will cause some pains, but if we are patient, everything will be rectified. Again, I don't think people should be talking about inherited problems. I don't think we should be drawing a line between Buhari administration and Tinubu administration, as both administrations are APC. People should stop saying those things to demarcate APC. And if people are saying all this to pit Buhari against Tinubu, it will not happen. They have failed already. All right, let me start with you, Honorable Churchill.
God bless you. Let me just go direct to the point, because I know we're running out of time. This particular issue about blame, I've said it here before in this station, that the problem of Nigeria did not start with Tinubu, and the problem of Nigeria did not start with Buhari. But the only thing Nigeria needs is a man with a different heart. If Tinubu comes up now, because he has a cabal, Buhari came with his own different cabal, Goodluck came with his own different cabal. The problem of Nigeria is not president, it's the cabal. They should forget about the cabal and think about the problem of the country. Some cabals want to put here in their pocket, put here on all their pockets, and save for their generation to come in 10 generations to come. And they are forgetting that there are people suffering. So, and not to worry that Tinubu is a wealthy man already. Just like I will always tell people that when Buhari came, Buhari said he was sick. But when he came, he became very strong. Tinubu, people were talking that he was sick. But now Tinubu has come. He's stronger. So the problem of Nigeria is not in them. The problem of Nigeria is in the cabal, including this this our brother that what is this his name? The Ogunlewe, you understand? Ogunlewe is one person that I believe too well that he did not contribute his quota. Everybody should be contributing his quota when it comes to Nigerian problem. Because the economy of Nigeria cannot be solved by the president alone. Everybody now should be looking at his own quota to contribute, to make sure that Nigeria comes to what it's supposed to be. Not when you are in the house, you talk anyhow you want, you say anything you want. It's not the problem. What is your solution to the economy of Nigeria? What is your solution to the problem of Nigeria? Tinubu can be there for 8 years and Nigeria has not seen a difference. Yes, it is possible. But I don't believe that kind of thing because me, I'm praying for Nigeria to be better.
All right. All right. Comrade Imiabi, what do you have to say to this?
A president that is not close to his people plans to fail. The president should have people, fillers, of people giving him information from even his own community. The president should have people giving him information from the grassroots. The president should have people informing him about the situation of things from the grassroots. Because if he keeps listening to those that surround him, he will never know when he's doing well and when he's not doing well. During the Buhari administration, a delegate met the then president, Muhammadu Buhari, and spoke about the East-West Road project that was ongoing. Now, Buhari has this assumption or this feeling that the East-West Road was 90% completion or near completion. That was the feeling of Buhari because he was feeding directly from the then minister of Niger Delta, Senator Godswill Obot Akpabio, now Senate President. Now, Akpabio informed Mr. President that he was actually, that the project was near completion. Even in the front, even before the president and before the Ogoni's delegates that paid a visit to the then president, it was then the Ogoni people that paid the visit. I was on that train, but I was not in the villa. Now, it was then the Ogoni people that was with the then president, opposed Akpabio. Amechi was on that visit. It was then they opposed Akpabio before Mr. President. That what Akpabio just said, the Minister for Niger Delta just said, was not true. And that the project was not near completion, far, far away from near completion. That was the reason why the project, the East-West Road project, was removed from Ministry of Niger Delta down to the presidential aspect of it, which the then Minister for Works, with the former governor of Lagos State, or forgetting his name, now took over the project. You see, what am I saying? Why am I bringing this background? I'm bringing this background because, as a president, you don't sit down and listen to only those that surround you. Let the president be able to have information beyond your cabal, beyond those that surround you, so that you know how people like us are feeling in our community at our community level. So you know how people like us are passing through the hardship. So I know how the economy is dealing with us decisively. Now, as a president, you don't have all of these tactics. Rather, you sit down and expect those around you to tell you it is well. It is not well, Mr. President. It is not well with us because you have failed the listening system. Now, this was the same process that the former president did. Buhari, he was not listening to the people. Well, he was paying attention to those around him. So, at this point, we don't have anybody to blame. Well, we'll go back and blame Mr. President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Ahmed Tinubu used to be one of my choice persons because he was one person that actually embarked on human capital development. I was happy the way he structured people. Yes, I was happy with the way he did a lot of things and ensured that people were actually put in different offices and empowered people. But now that he became the president, we expect more and not failure. Now, he is not trying to live on the legacy of what he has actually built. He has built people. But why can't you build Nigeria economy? It's not just building those you have built and then think you want to leverage on those you have built before. How are you going to build Nigeria economy? Nigeria economy is becoming the worst under your administration. People are dying. People are committing suicide more than they were committing suicide before. Hardship is all over. You make policies without creating a standard for this policy. Now, as a president, when you want to take decision, when you want to make a decision, I think you have been able to think about the negative effects of what you are doing before even implementing or taking a decision. And one of those things I must say is the removal of fuel subsidy. There is nothing wrong with removing the fuel subsidy. But what we are doing, the president will have set aside other machineries in place to take charge of the removal of fuel subsidy. Right. As we speak, NNPC, I will make it again, NNPC at Rumigbo in Port Harcourt, River State, Obiwale Road. It's not the same price with NNPC on the airport road. It's not the same price in Port Harcourt. So why are we not having a regulatory system? Why our system not being regulatory? What is the duty of Mr. President? It's not just to sit down and then watch over the country, but to sit down and ensure that the country do not fail under his leadership or under his administration. So we should be able to ask Mr. President few questions, right. And that is very important. Okay. If this system failed, it is not the National Assembly that failed. If this system fails, it is not the judiciary that fails. If this system fails, it is not INEC that fails. If this system fails, it is Bola Ahmed Tinubu system that failed.
All right. On to the next story. You want to say something, Honorable? Okay.
I wanted to say something.
You have 1 minute.
Yes. I want to, first of all, let me tell him to desist from the character of calling the number 3 citizens name.
No, you can't.
No, when I tell you, because it's not himself cannot be blamed in the economy of this country. So I'm not talking about any person being blamed. What I'm talking about is me and him, we are to be blamed concerning this economy. We are to be blamed. Because he also contributed in it. The person you elected of recent that is representing you. Who is representing you now?
So who do you know I elect?
You elected Barim Piki to represent you.
Right.
How many times yes, as a senator? Is he not the one? But he's the one that you elected. No, we want to, let me tell him that me and him we have to be blamed.
No, but it doesn't have a fact to that.
We are not.
But it doesn't have a fact to that now.
It's okay.
It doesn't have a fact to
I have a fact to
that.
that.
You were not there when I voted.
On to the next story, please. The Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria has sought for the reconstruction and compensation of victims in the recently demolished cattle market in parts of Southeast states. The cattle market located in Lopanta of Abia State and Woba in Enugu State were recently demolished over alleged harboring and service as criminals' hideouts for suspected kidnappers marauding the Southeast states. But the Miyetti Allah had since denied harboring of criminals in their midst, stating that they had indeed, in many occasions, fished out criminal elements who infiltrated their midst and handed them over to the security agencies. In a statement on Sunday, a chieftain of Miyetti Allah in the Southeast and the immediate past chairman of the group in the Southeast Zone, who currently is a director in the national body, Alhaji Gidado Siddiqui, said that the plight of the displaced cattle dealers in the Abia and Enugu states was very bad. He said, "While we recognize the need to comply with government policies, trusting that these actions are not deliberately intended to undermine our business interests, we are worried by the quantum of losses upon our people. We are, however, most optimistic that the human face in governance will compel the governments of Abia and Enugu states to grant the victims of the demolitions adequate compensation to enable them get on in pursuit of their legitimate livelihood. We are eagerly looking forward to the quick construction of new market facilities to serve our people's business cause. We are hopeful that the government of the states will carry our leadership along in matters concerning the reconstruction. We urge our members to stay calm, await the final government decision, and pray for peace and stability across the Southeast." He continued by saying, "It is essential for our members to be law-abiding, avoiding actions that would jeopardize peace and stability in the region. We emphasize humility and sincerity towards our host for sustainable coexistence." Comrade Iniabi, what is your take on Miyetti Allah decrying the state of their members whose markets were demolished in Abia State and Enugu State, and also asking for compensation?
Well, I think a lot of investigation has to go on, because personally, I've always said it without biased mind or sentiment. The Hausas, Fulanis, and the others that live amongst us in the Niger Delta, southeast, south-south, and the southern aspect of this country, they live very free, peacefully. They walk freely. They do what they want to do. They even argue right with us. They even fight us. They even challenge us. They even condemn our policies and condemn our act. And we don't go against them. They do so many things against us, and we live in peace. We don't chase them away. But is it the same thing when you go to the north to live as a southerner? Do you get the same approach? Without biased mind, without sentiment, I'll tell you the answer is no. Just in Abuja here, I know how we from the southerners or southeast are being intimidated by our brothers from that part of the country, the northerners. I also know how we find it difficult to claim our right in the northern states. But these rights are being claimed in our own region. If we want to be one Nigerians, then we must be one Nigerian from all points of actions. If we want to be one Nigerian, we must be one Nigerian from all reasonable way. It shouldn't be just one-sided. It should be all-sided. So asking that there should be a compensation is not a bad thing. But if actually the site was demolished because of what happened, then why are you compensating them? Why are you compensating? Because there is a rumor right now that currently the instability of peace that we have today is being caused by the Fulani herdsmen, bandits, and our brothers from the north. It is unfortunate that even our brothers that are Christians that live in the north does not have peace of mind. Deborah was killed in this country. Deborah was killed because she made a statement on a platform where it was academic platform. But that platform was changed to a religious platform. And when you were dropping information that concern Allah or concern Muhammad on the platform, the young lady said, too much of this is an academic platform. Because she knew very well that as a Christian, she cannot be able to drop any message from Jesus Christ on that platform. And she will not be queried or excommunicated or exit. She will not be asked to exit the platform. But because she made a statement, she was beaten, molested, burned, and killed. And nothing happens. Everybody, there is still peace in this country. I'm quite sure if it was a Christian that did that to a Muslim brother, there would have been serious trouble in this country. So are we actually living as one Nigerian? The Netiala should understand that they need to preach beyond just demanding for compensation. The situation we face today is beyond payment of compensation. If Nigeria should separate, Northerners should go, and the Niger Delta people should go, the Southeast and South Side, everybody should go, then what will be the fate of some of our brothers who should also believe are struggling to earn a living? Because as we speak, Nigeria was surviving through agriculture. But as we speak right now, Nigeria is no longer surviving through agriculture. Well, we are surviving through crude. And where is the crude coming from? So if we want to look at one Nigerians or one Nigeria, then our brothers in the Muslim or in the outside kingdom should think of how everybody can live in peace. If you are living in peace with us here, we should live in peace with you in Borno State. We should live in peace with you in Adamawa. We should live in peace with you with other parts of the state. And not living in peace here where we are not living in peace the other way. I said it because I'm a traveler. And I'm saying this wholeheartedly because I have experienced it. I have experienced a situation where you cannot challenge an Hausa man in his land.
Okay.
It's not possible.
All right. All right. Honorable Churchill.
Yes, my brother has said some part of it, but I want to go direct to the area where law is being made to regulate an environment or the activities of an environment. I know too well that if these persons, the Métis Allies, they bought the place and they have their documents that this is the place they are rearing their cattle. And anything happens here, they have the right to demand for compensation. Because even in Ikore local government, we made a law of a rearing of cattle in an organized environment. So, but if they can just on their own enter somebody's land on their own and start rearing cow or rearing cattle of any kind, any animal, and the person that owns the land says, no, stop staying in my land, they don't need to demand for any compensation. But what I'm saying is that there should be organized rearing of cow and cattle.
Okay, you're talking about that. The reason for the demolition of
their market should be established.
They were accused of hiding criminals.
God bless you. Let me
in their market.
Let me digress.
That was the reason the market was demolished. Do not forget, in recent times,
that
and sometime in
Wike
the past,
did it.
No, there were killings in Enugu State.
Okay.
And there were killings in Abia State.
Okay.
And the allegation was it was herdsmen.
That is the reason why I said just calm down. Let me digress. You see, if aside being organized in Rivers State here, we also notice this kind of issue, a serious one, between the slaughter area, when people were being robbed, raped, and there was also so many kinds of criminalities. The governor looked at the situation and decided to ask them to quit, and that particular environment was demolished.
Which people were doing that?
The people that were doing it is the same Mieti Allah,
okay,
the same Fulanis. They constituted high level of.
They were rearing cattle there.
Not only rearing cattle, it's a market.
Okay, slaughter market.
Yes, slaughter market. Many things happened in that area.
It's an abattoir.
Yes,
okay.
It happened. Many things happened, and the governor demolished that place. That place now, if you go there, you will see difference there.
Okay.
At least that area, people can drive their car. People can park their car and go to any area, see things themselves, and buy something and go. But then there was serious robbery, high level of robbery and molestations here and there. So these people has contributed a lot in causing harm in most of our states. And you know too well that the Southeast are the states that, most of them are states that doesn't tolerate most things that the Fulanis are doing, because their people are suffering highly in the hands of the Fulanis in the north. When I tell you, my friend that stayed in Kaduna, he came back without a bag. His house was burned down, his wife killed, and he came back to the Southeast crying. He lost his wife. Yes. But that kind of thing cannot just happen here. Our people are organized. So if that place was demolished because of the criminalities within that environment, that is to say that the government is trying to save the people within that vicinity. So they shouldn't be coming to demand for compensation from who? Compensation from the illegal acts that is being performed within that area.
They are saying that they are not the ones. And if you listen to the statements by their chairman, he also said that when they discover some elements, some criminal elements hiding among them, they hand them over to the police. That in part also says that, okay, maybe it's a mismultitude.
It's a mismultitude. And what the government did was what they are supposed to do. Because if you don't act that way, you will not get a better result.
All right. Let me come to you, Comrade Inyabe. Do you think they cry for compensation for members of Mieti Allah in Abia State and Enugu State is well deserved?
First, I want to see that the government of Abia State currently, we have trust, a little trust in the government of Abia State. Alex Oti is actually doing his best to ensure that Abia State is safe for Abia people and for strangers that lives in Abia State. If you go to Eleme Junction, you see a lot of the criminals that was living in Abia State that are now pushed out of Abia State. And a lot of them are running to different states. They have run to River State. They are in Eleme Junction. They are filled up. Not Eleme Junction, they are filled up in most of the motor parks. Alex Oti is chasing away criminals from Abia State to make his government governable. If you're an enemy of that state, he's chasing people away. Those are enemies of the state. And he's doing well. Even from a distance. People of Abia State are celebrating him. They are happy for him. So if the Fulani men or those persons that were supposed to live in peace or ensure that there is peace in the state, is actually using the environment they are living or residing to create hardship or to bring about, produce criminals, and they're going to see the need of chasing them away, then why you demand for compensation? Why demand for compensation? Just as my brother Churchy said, it is obvious that our brothers from Hausa are not doing or living by our rules and regulation here. But we live by their rules and regulation, will go to there. I give an instance. I was in Samaru. I went to Samaru to do something in Samaru in Kaduna State. So while I was in Samaru, in the flat where I was living, there was no water, as at the time I wanted to use water. So the water has finished and I was new to that particular flat. So what did I do? There was no way I could get water to bathe, and I needed to bathe and leave. And the place where I'm supposed to use or to pump the water was not accessible by me. So I now realize that there is a public water somewhere I can go and fetch, which is just very close to me. So I have to run out because I was already pressed. I have to run out to go and fetch water from the public water. And what happened? I ran there with a boxer. Do you know what happened? I was invited, taken to a town hall. If not the grace of God that fell on me, I was supposed to be given a thorough treatment. But grace never ran out of me. There was grace on me.
All right.
And what happened? I was protected by the person that actually squatted me. Now, this was how I escaped that humiliation. Now, but in this part of the world, in our south region, in our part here, southeast, is there any way an Hausa man can face such thing? I have not seen an Hausa man face such a situation in this part.
All right.
So why are we always facing the wrong thing or facing the hard side of life in the north? Now, if you're asking for compensation, I want to tell the leadership of the Miati Allah to please go back to their meeting or do a town hall meeting and then call their Muslim brothers or Hausa brothers living amongst us to live in peace with us.
Okay.
And then stop producing criminals in a situation or residence where they give to them.
All right.
There's no need demanding for compensation. So why are you demanding for compensation? The energy you are putting in demanding for compensation should be put in asking for peace amongst your brothers that are living with us.
All right.
And not to demand for compensation.
All right, Comrade Imiabe. Thank you so much, Comrade Imiabe Oscar. It's always a pleasure to have you.
It's good to be with you.
And thank you, Honorable Churchy Wale.
God bless you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
And time is not our friend this morning. This is where we wrap it up on this episode of Blowout on Atlantic Television Network. You can always catch up and stay connected on all ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogu Laurentia Choma. Open Conversation comes up next. Don't go away.